Come On's the new Mike Mills film, his first film since 20th Century Women from 2016. However, we did discuss his wife's film Kajillionaire last year. He is, in fact, married to filmmaker Miranda July. But Come On, I think, is notable for a few reasons. Namely, it's Joaquin Phoenix's first acting role since winning Best Actor for Joker. So, and of course, Joaquin Phoenix needs no introduction. You watch him when he does things; he's that good, and he's really great in this film. And it's funny, Come On's just the latest in black and white drama films to come out the end of 2021. We've had so many at this point with Passing and Belfast and the forthcoming Tragedy of Macbeth. Black and white is back, and uh, Come On, it's just a really personal, kind of simple movie about Joaquin Phoenix's character Johnny taking care of his 9-year-old nephew while his sister goes to tend to her husband, who is dealing with some bipolar issues and can't be there with the family. And Johnny, who has never had a kid, learning a lot about what it's like to raise a kid or take care of a kid in the interim while he's watching this young boy who's played by Woody Norman, the young kid. His sister's played by Gabby Hoffman, who is really great. And most of Gabby Hoffman's scenes are on the phone with Johnny, with Joaquin. But I think the best stuff about it is that the kid, Woody Norman, comes across as like really genuine as a kid who, with his spongy, undeveloped brain, is trying to process what is going on with his parents, why his mom's not taking care of him, why his dad is going away, stuff like that. Trying to process all these things that he just doesn't understand, obviously, right? And then you contrast that with Johnny, who has some of his own things going on in the background you learn about over time. And Johnny trying to figure out how to communicate with someone who's clearly not an adult, right? And meanwhile, the film, we kind of travel LA, New York City, and New Orleans. The New York shots really transformative, looks really great. Spent a lot of time in Chinatown down there. I think thematically, message wise, I think the movie kind of meanders a little bit, but it's really just a movie about people talking. There's no grand conflict. There's no inciting incident per se. So you probably have to really connect with those performances, with those conversations, I think, to get a lot out of the film. On the side, you have Johnny doing his job, which is kind of being like a public radio figure. He goes in person to interview children and ask, like 10, 12-year-old, 13-year-olds, ask them questions about the world. And like the kids talk about their fears of climate change and overpopulation and all kinds of things, really. And I'm not even sure if those scenes were scripted or not, but they're like really, I think, effective, like interstitial scenes on the part of Joaquin. Just hearing these young kids is like talk about things, right? Uh, but yeah, I think the movie's I don't even want to say it's high minded. It's like it's simple, but it's kind of meandering. So I think you have to really connect with the characters, connect with the loose themes because the themes are not super defined. And the kid being a 9-year-old character, I think he's 11, the actor, but like the 9-year-old kid, uh, you know, he's a 9-year-old kid, so you might be annoyed at times, but comes across as genuine. So I liked the movie. I didn't love it, but I would definitely say check it out. Mike Mills for 20th Century Women, he got nominated for Best Original Screenplay. He seems to be a really cool indie filmmaker who his ambition is really just to be successful enough to make the next indie film.
Yeah.
And I kind of respect that kind of ambition. So,
Were
Joaquin
you
Phoenix alone worth the price of admission.
I was gonna say, were you impressed with Joaquin? Did you feel like he really got into this role?
Yeah, and like obviously coming off Joker, it's not as showy as Joker, right?
Sure.
But yeah, Joaquin definitely gets into it. I like it a lot from him. He was tremendous in it, and he's the
Do
best
you
part, I think.
do you get like a father son dynamic between them, or
Yeah, it's funny, right? Because at one point, the kid asks him why he doesn't have any kids and stuff like that, right? And you can sense the paternal instincts coming up at times, but if anything, it's more about like first time parent and all the fears
Mm,
and anxieties that accompany that. And I've seen that sentiment shared by parents watching the film and seeing a lot of familiar conflicts and issues coming up with having a kid, right? So yeah, it's again because like I don't know if like the journey is super like well defined when you watch the movie. It kind of bobs and weaves through our story, but yeah, I would say check it out. It's an A24 film.
I definitely want to check it out. I've heard good things, so it's on my list, the ever growing list of things I have to get to before our end of year movie list.